I'm Anarchy. This is Mozzcast. I'm here with Rob Moz, and we have a special guest today, Collector X. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, I appreciate you having me on your show. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about Legends.
Awesome. We are too. We are too. Marvel Legends we want Marvel Legends to be a staple of the channel, right? Like we're gonna talk about reveals. We're gonna talk about every week. We're gonna try reveals and what our favorite figures are, and just deep dive into Marvel Legends, as it were. And Collector X, we wanted to have you on because we know like you're deep into it too, man.
I've been into it since 2002. Actually, before that, with the pre-Legends, which the Spider-Man line, so around 2000, and I've been tapping that vein ever since.
Nice. I was also into when they first hit. 2002. You said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rob, what do you got?
I fucking hated Legends. I hated them. I didn't look at them. I didn't want them until I went to the flea market. I got a huge collection at a great deal, and I fell in love. And Collector X became my dealer, basically.
That's what happened. He saw the light, and he got a little sample and wanted a little bit more, and I was happy. I was happy to serve it up to him.
I was getting the fix, and he was giving it to me.
You're still getting the fix. What are you talking about?
Yes.
I was very happy when Rob started collecting Legends as well, because that just brought him into toys again. And but they got you, dude. You didn't like him until you had him in hand.
Well, I was into toys. I was into customs, and I was into older stuff like G.I. Joe and vintage stuff, and couldn't stand Legends. Just nothing about them, and I bought that collection and I couldn't sell it, and I bought it to flip, and I kept it all, and I loved them, and I fell in love. I just started playing, and sorry.
You got deep.
Sorry, I hated you.
You got deep into it.
Yeah, I did. Real fast.
Fast too.
Deep, real fast.
Yeah. I mean, I remember you breezing through all those lines. It would take most collectors years to accomplish, and you were doing it quickly, and I was amazed.
I was too. It was Avengers and X-Men, and then Build-A-Figures, and then you had every Build-A-Figure for
everyone. Yeah.
You did it quick. You really did it quick.
I sold off a lot now. I kept what I loved,
and
I can't sell that stuff. Like I was going to sell it all just to get in, because I was getting into cards, but I just couldn't get out. And now I'm back in, and now I'm doing both, and it's just crazy.
And then I was trying to sell some stuff and just do certain lines, Spider-Man and X-Men in the Legends, and then Rob got a bunch from me. Did that bring you back in?
That accelerated my card collection. I kind of flipped a lot of that into higher end cards, like that Zion that I talked about in an earlier episode and stuff like that. And, that accelerated that part of it, but I kept a lot of that too. It's really caused me to be both, buying that collection from you.
Right.
Caused me to keep some of them, and then also be in the cards. And right now I'm not buying anything. I'm just, because Christmas and all that, sometimes I just take a couple months off from buying altogether, and I'll just catch up to it later. But I love them. I absolutely love them. This Deadpool I'm showing on my screen right now, this figure is amazing.
It is. It is a really
and it's funny. I passed that up. I saw it at Target, and I was like, you know what? I'll wait. And I regret it now. It's one of those things, there was one there. And I think, why I passed it up? The paint apps were all messed up.
Okay. Well, I understand that.
And I was like, do I get it? Don't I get it? So I'm gonna definitely. It's on the list. It's on the list again, because there's a lot.
Put that one higher up.
Yeah.
Put that one higher up. This Deadpool figure, I seen it at Anarchy's house, and I just fell in love with it, man. They're really pushing the edge on these Marvel Legends now. They're getting better and better with the pinless technology, and
well, consider it still that you're getting a figure for roughly $19.99, and now you're getting more accessories, more heads,
yep,
more weapon. You're getting all this stuff for still the same price point. And that's if you're just going straight retail, not looking for a sale anywhere. So that's still impressive in this day and age with how plastic is, royalties, everything else. You can still get a better figure than you got 5 years ago for the same price.
Right. I was about to say that, and we've talked about it before, but I still think Marvel Legends right now is the best bang for the buck.
Absolutely.
$19.99, you get a great sculpt, accessories, heads, weapons, it is, I think, the best bang for the buck.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because you're comparing Legends to, remember DCU before McFarlane got the toy line. I enjoyed the DC Universe line, but they never adapted. They never changed. It was the same buck, maybe a new head. That was it.
That was it.
Very little weapons, no accessories. And it wasn't until the line's demise where they finally realized, hey, we should start putting some articulation in the ankles and the wrists. And by that point, it was too late, and McFarlane got the line. But
the goofy hip, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, the goofy, kind of like butterfly hips and everything. Yeah. But other than that, in DC Collectibles, that was the only game in town, and they were doing.
I will say this about the line, though. At the time, I didn't notice all that stuff. I didn't really get into it, but Greg had a master collection of DCU, and man, just seeing them all together was impressive. It was very impressive.
But I think what a good point you brought up there, you didn't notice maybe the technical flaws of the figure until you started comparing it to a Legend. And that's what happens. Yes. You loved it because when it first came out, you're like, this is great. You're doing these A, B, C, and D characters you never thought they'd do.
Right.
And then you start taking a Legend and go, why can't this be a Legend? Why can't I get a vintage Batman or a vintage Penguin that's like a Legend? No, I'm just getting this almost 5-point articulation when in actuality, that's at the same price point. So it doesn't make any sense.
The sculpts on DC Universe Classics were so good. I mean, they were really, really good. Four Horsemen Studios might have did a bunch of those sculpts, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they did, and Gentle Giant, and then some in-house guys and everything. And yes, they were great. I mean, as far as the accuracy of it, the face sculpts were great. Even the weapons that came with the very limited weapons, but they also. I don't know if the royalties were too expensive or they just wanted to make more money, but you could see they just kept using the same buck.
The same body over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yep.
I don't think they cared, and I think the same thing can be said for Marvel Legends when Hasbro first took over. They were bad. They were the early years of Hasbro Marvel Legends was bad, really bad.
Yeah, well, they had some stinkers. Let's put it that way. I mean, so I thought they had some decent ones. I know some people, when you're looking back on it, like I know a lot of people dislike the first Hercules, the vintage one, but looking back on it, I think it's a good figure. But then again, in that same wave, you have the White Queen, and the Frost, which was horrible. I mean, that's akin to remember the original Scarlet Witch that was canceled because it was so bad. And I was the sucker. I ended up buying one for about $100 back then because I thought it was going to be rare, and turns out, well, it wasn't.
Well, Hasbro really ramped it up. They ramped up production. They ramped up figure production. They ramped up redesign. And I think Hasbro as a company listened to the fans. They listen to the communities out there. They listen to what they're looking for and what they want. And it shows. It shows in their sales and how the line has grown.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, case in point. I mean, we're just talking about the Cannonball. If you were complaining the fact it had no legs, they may hear you, but what are the chances that in the span of 2 or 3 years, they're going to redo the figure and put it out? Most companies like, hey, listen, we didn't do it. Sorry. We're going to move on to the next wave. They're going to put it out in the next 2 or 3 years, whether it's an exclusive, with it's in a new X-Men wave, and you're going to get what you want. That's unheard of with most toy companies, especially one that size.
You're right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And, I'm collecting Legends right now. I'm doing the ones I like Rob is. And I don't think I'm going to go back and get, I'm not going to get 100% of the figures, right? Like that Scarlet Witch you just talked about. That I'm just going to pick and choose, even if there's 10 Captain Americas. I might pick 2 or 3 that I like the best, and that will be my Captain America on my shelf, right? There's a ton of good Iron Mans, but I'm just going to pick 2 or 3, and that's going to be my, the anniversary Iron Man that just came out is an outstanding figure.
Yeah.
The comic book version of Tony Stark and Iron Man. But That's going to be my main Iron Man, right? But I think Rob's going to do the same thing, right? You're not going to be a 100% in the line. It's too expensive.
And then I'm trying not to.
They're
fucking pulling me back in every
they
turn.
are, and then you get a case of something great. The Venom Pool wave that just came out, I haven't gotten yet. And then there's another wave will hit, and then another wave will hit, and then another wave will hit. And
don't sleep on that Venom Pool wave.
Well, I was lucky enough to get the 5 to build Venom Pool.
Nice.
Okay, it is by far one of the best Build-A-Figures they've done in the history of the line. Okay, it's sculpted well, it holds the swords well, the paint apps, everything was great. So I flipped it, made $100 on just to build a figure because I have another wave coming. So it was one of those situations where I was being an opportunist, but now I can take that $100 and put it back into the habit that I have.
Right. And
but
Venom Pool, like, who would have thought we would have gotten a Venom Pool figure? And I know I play a game called Marvel Contest of Champions, and I don't know if Venom Pool originated in that game, but he is in that game. Marvel.
Well, that's where he came from. Okay, that's where they got him. Yeah, he's not in the comics. Nothing, no continuity other than that game.
In the game, okay. But and I haven't seen one, in hand. But I mean, I think it is a fantastic figure,
and it's solid. I mean, it's what you want, and you hope that continues. Yeah, I mean that thing. You can pose it, and it's not. And the thing is, it's not top heavy where you're worried it's going to tip over.
It is pretty badass. Now, going back on what I said, not buying 100% of the figures or being a completist, I guess is the word I was looking for. But I did not think I would want that Venom Pool. I want that Venom Pool. This is how they get you.
Yep. That's how it works. I'm sure the both of us, all three of us, we have decided that, even when you see a wave, you're like, all right, I'm going to keep these 3, sell these other, trade these other. As soon as you get in your hand, you realize, you know what? I need to keep this Citizen V. You know why? It's a cool figure. Now I want to do Thunderbolts. And then when you've already decided, I'm only doing Fantastic Four, I'm only doing Avengers, and now all of a sudden you're doing an ancillary, team, because when did you ever think they were going to make a Citizen V?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. They're going deep, that's for sure.
And that's it. And it sucks you in. And the other thing in the back of my mind is, if I sell this figure, trade this figure, whatever, 5 years from now, that figure is going to be $80. And now I want it even more now than I did one 5 years ago. And now I'm going to have to spend 4 times the cost just to get that figure back.
Yeah.
With that being said, and that brings me into something I wanted to bring up with you, is the way you buy and sell and have a knowledge of knowing when to get rid of something is uncanny, Collector X. Really uncanny.
I appreciate that. I try to look at it someone like a stock, and that's how the things are. And what tipped me off to how I think Hasbro's working, and I don't know for sure, I have no insider information, is back when when the Return of Legends came back in 2011, San Diego Comic-Con, and they were interviewing the panel. I think it was Dwight Stahl and the rest of the guys of the creative. And they asked him, he's like, what's your vision for the future? And he said, well, we're going to redo everything Toy Biz did and everything we did up to that point. So that got me thinking, well, if that's the case, and I've got things on my shelves, I'm sure you had on your shelves, worth 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks. Why am I going to keep that if I know in a year or two they're going to redo the brown costume Wolverine, they're going to do the 2-pack Nick Fury, they're going to do the Warpath and all that stuff? I have money sitting on my shelf that I need to roll back into my collection.
Right. That's
so what I did was I started to pare things down and systematically looking at it like, all right, I may be missing this guy from my collection for about a year, but I know it's worth it to get that $60. So now I can go buy 3 Legends instead of having the 1. So
a great example was Ares. I went out and this is when I was hot. I was big into them. I wanted that Ares. I wanted to put the Dark Avengers, one of my favorite teams, together. I still have all them figures. And I spent a couple bills on the Ares, and I loved it. I got it and I loved it. And not too long after, they released them in a single card, and I didn't listen. And Collector, I see unloaded his, and I'm still sitting on mine. So
I urged you, like, just you got to get rid of it. Even when the information first hit, I'm like, you might be taking a little bit of a haircut on it, but at least you're going to get something out of it until bottoms out. But that brings me to an interesting point with the Aries. What really tipped me off, and now I know that Hasbro has no boundaries as far as what they're going to release or re-release. If you take a look back at the Book of the Vashante San Diego Comic-Con set,
right,
and then the Doctor Strange set that came out about a year or two later. Yeah, the fact that they took that Build-A-Figure for the first time and reissued it, slight deco, and then the Enchantress, that's the one that blew me away. I was about to load up on the Enchantress from that raft set because I figured everybody's going to want it, even paying $40 a piece. And good thing I didn't do it, because when that got re-released, I knew Hasbro has no boundary. They're just going to do what they feel is best to fill out a line, and that's what you got to be careful on. So that's why, if you're going to buy something secondhand, just be careful on how much you spend on it secondhand, because the odds are, if Hasbro knows it's worth something, it's coming back out.
Sure.
And that's
I have a total new philosophy now. What I do is whatever Anarchy is going to sell, I buy, and then it's worth something after he sells it. But while he owns it, it's not going to be worth shit.
I heard that. I heard that tale between you selling Frank stuff, and then like a day later, it's worth 4 times what you sold it to.
The next day, dude. It always happens. It's exactly the next day.
So whenever he's going to sell something, I'm going to tell him to hold off. Let me go buy some of it first.
And then give yourself a week. Let's see what happens with the market.
And I can't blame Frank at all. It's me. I should just keep it, but I don't learn my lesson. I think I have now, but it took 6 times. Pound me in the head 5 times, and the 6th time I'll learn my lesson.
Oh, we've all done that.
The part that you just won was the yak face. You took just a beating on that, and
I did.
The freaking coin. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Yeah, that tripled in value the next day.
Neither here nor there, right?
Yeah, but that happens to all of us. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know.
You do.
What?
I disagree.
My crystal ball is a little cloudy. I can see sometimes, but not all the times. I mean, perfect example.
You get analytical with it. You're very analytical with it, and you really do. It is investment. It's a love, it's a passion, but I also seen the investment part of it with you, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate the friendship that I have with you guys, and the fact that we do talk about this stuff and share knowledge. Because listen, I don't know everything. You guys have some insight on what you see. The other thing that drives this stuff is what's going on in the movie and comics. I mean, look what just happened with Miles Morales in this video game. His first appearance comic book went from about $400. It's doing about $1,500 now.
Oh wow,
crazy! And I see the bullet on that still going up.
Absolutely. I mean, he's the future. Along with a few others. And it's funny enough, when Disney investors had their meeting last week and they were going over their new projects, one of the names that came up, I don't know if you heard, in the new Doctor Strange movie, is America Chavez, new character. She's been around for a few years. So I have to go check to see what her comic's doing. It's doing $900, graded 9.8.
Wow!
Already.
Wow! Missed the boat.
You missed the boat on that, and you're thinking, all right, and it's a new comic. I think it was only 2011, so it's not that old. But the fact is, it's a $900 comic and a 9.8. So
right, I had an example. Rocket Raccoon, in his first appearance in The Incredible Hulk, was worthless for so many years. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Guardians of the Galaxy hit, boom, that went up to a few $100.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm right now, Collector X. I am doing Legends very, very slowly. I love them all. Specifically, like the X-Men and the Spider-Man lines. I can't get enough. I say I'm going to do it slow, and then here I am buying whatever I can. I just bought the Havoc and whatchamacallit, 2-pack.
Polaris.
Polaris,
Polaris 2-pack.
Yeah, 2-pack. Then the Strong Guy wave I bought the whole wave to build Strong Guy. And my slow process here is turning into, well, it's not that slow. I'm spending $300 last month on the waves that I got. I wanted to jump on. There was the Jean Grey Cyclops Wolverine 3-pack, right? I missed that. Looking to grab that as my next purchase, and possibly I also missed the Colossus Juggernaut 2-pack, right? I never even saw that in the store.
I saw it once, and here's my and this is my feeling on 2-packs and 3-packs is that I wouldn't initially go out and buy the 2-pack right off the bat or the 3-pack. Give it some time to breathe because they always go down in price. Always. Whether it's a retailer online, whether it is Walmart or Target, they always get discounted. Now, unless you're a huge fan and you want it and you're going to spend the $40 to $60 between that, my feeling is to hold off. That's something I've tried to tell Rob and a few other people I know is just give it a second and you'll end up getting it for 30, maybe $20, saving yourself, half price on that.
Right. Thank you.
But,
yeah, I'm definitely going to take your advice. Especially since, last month was a rough one with 2-3 different waves and the other stuff I'm buying, and I'm collecting too much. I'm just collecting too much. A heck of a problem to have, but yeah, I'm just collecting too much right now.
Well, and it's collected too much, but you can see, Hasbro dominates the landscape of action figures.
Oh, they do. Yep.
And now since there's no conventions right now because of COVID, they're maximizing their presence on Instagram, Facebook, and everything else. So you'll have, like, this past Monday was Mando Monday. All of a sudden, new figures come out, and you're like, dude, I got to get those figures. But last week, I had to get the new Legends, and the week after that, I had to get the new Power Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. Big Bad Toy Store just hit me hard over the last 2 months.
And that's it. And that's the other thing. You go and pre-order from them.
Yep.
And you forget about it for 6 to 8 months, and all of a sudden, you get an email. And it says, "Hey, Greg, we're shipping out 7 things." You're like, "What?"
That's exactly what happened. And then, oh man, I forgot I pre-ordered, these 5 things. And then I ordered, I'll give you another example, 5 Black Series Stormtroopers from The Mandalorian. So you get the email and like, oh, what did I get? And then you check your bank account, $22.99 times 5.
Yep. And that's it. And you do a little sigh. You're like,
yep, exactly.
And it's like, well, I'm at the point of no return, so I might as well accept it. And that's it.
Exactly.
And then the other problem I know we both do this. All right, I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna slow down on the buying. All right. And then a week later, you're like, nah, click, I'm gonna buy that. Click, I'm gonna buy that.
Exactly.
It's just what happens. Yeah, it's what happens.
Interject real quick now. The Storm and Warpath, or is that the 2-pack out now?
Yeah, that's a Target exclusive 2-pack route right now.
It is loaded, man. It is everywhere.
Yeah,
I got a funny story on that one.
Out of that.
Yeah, so initially that was a Target exclusive. Went online, the story where the bots or whomever
got them. Yep,
snapped it up. So that one got me scared. I'm like, all right, because you know how hard the GI Joes are to get. Okay,
yes.
So I figured, well, these 2 characters are very important to collect Marvel Legends collectors. So I figured this might be the tough one to get and willing to spend the $40. So fast forward, after months of being out of stock, they showed up in my local Target. Okay, so I looked online. It said limited stock. So I got up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go to the Target on a Sunday when it opened up. I get there, and of course, there's people my age already waiting outside. So I'm like, crap. I'm going to have to find a way to get this. So the doors open and everybody starts to speed walk. Okay. Not to look like they're anxious or anything, but just anxious enough. So I'm neck and neck with this one guy to my right who I'm like, all right, I guess it's him and I are going after this figure. At least that's what I'm thinking. He gives me a little shimmy to break me off my path. And I'm like, what? It's like, because this is the first time I've ever. I thought this is the first time I've ever done this, where I've woken up early to go to a retailer to get a toy. So I'm like, crap, I'm going to have to run. So I start speed walking faster, and the guy disappears. So I'm like, okay. I make my turn, my route to the toy aisle, and before I know it, on the other end by electronics, he is running as fast as he can. I'm like, crap, I'm going to have to run. I start bolting to the toy aisle. All right, we meet there basically simultaneously. I'm on the left, he's on the right. We meet in the middle. We're scanning everywhere, nothing. So I'm like, crap. So he immediately gets an ear on one of the clerks and tells the guy. The guy goes back in the warehouse and comes back with one. I'm like, crap. So I said, hey, I asked the clerk, I said, do you have any more in the back? He goes, yeah, I have 2 more. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'll take them both. And then I turned around and all the other guys that are waiting, I said, does anybody else need one? They're like, oh, no, we're here for the pops. Don't worry about it. So I'm thinking, hey, great. I got 2 of these. This is great. I offer Rob one. And he's like, no, if you want to sell it, hold on to it. I said, okay. And then sure enough, like 2 weeks later, they pop up online. There's cases in the stores. So I'm like, well, you know what? This is a perfect example of them creating this demand. You're rushing out to get it. You're paying full retail. And before you know, by January, these things will be $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you buy them all at $20.
But here's the thing but that's the thing on the investment part, those things 6 months from now, maybe a year, will be $80.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but yeah, I got shimmied, pushed off to get an action figure by grown men, not buying it for kids, for themselves. Okay.
My wife had when the GI Joes hit the Cobra Island exclusives at Target, and Rob went searching and got me a couple too, but my Target said they had limited stock of the Cobra Trooper.
Yep.
My wife got there when they opened for me. I was down and out for something. I don't remember why. I think I had a doctor's procedure or something going on that day, or I was sick or something. I don't exactly remember what. But she got up and she got there and she texted me. There's like 8 people in line or 10 people already in line at 8:00 in the morning or 7:52 in the morning, and nobody knew that she was there for GI Joes. So when the door opened, she ran. She darted to the aisle, and there was one hanging on the peg, and she got it.
Wow.
Let's go.
And she turned around, and like these guys are just standing there like, where's all the Cobra Troopers? They had one. None in the back either. And she texted me, I got one. Then I texted Rob, go to your Target. They got limited stock.
Well, so I think we got to start using our wives as decoys or something, or spies, because
they had no idea they did not expect her.
Sure.
And then she felt bad. She said there was like a 10-year-old kid or something that was with his dad. The dad sent the 10-year-old kid the other side of the aisle, and he went the other side of the aisle, and they tried to outrun her or something. But she looked down and saw the 10-year-old.
That's gonna be you and Maddie, bro. I don't even want to hear that.
They flanked your wife just to see they kind of cut her off.
Yeah, but she
ran. Be anarchy in this son. Don't worry.
To know, I still only have one Cobra Trooper.
Wow.
And guess what? You have one more than Rob and I do. Because
yes.
I didn't even attempt it. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, just the fact that you're never going to see them.
It is.
So,
it is kind of ridiculous for
I've
sure.
never seen the ninjas. I've never even seen them in the stores.
I got lucky on those too. Big Bad got cases of those, just the ninjas, and I think I have 3 sitting here of just the ninjas. But I don't want any more than 3 red ninjas. I'm good with 3 red ninjas.
Yeah, I picked up 2 of those. One, 2 weeks ago? Hasbro Plus. They came back on, but only for premium members.
Oh, okay.
And you could buy 2 at a time. So I picked those up.
Nice.
Hey, listen, they're nice. I mean, if you're a Joe collector, it's different. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like them too. And I still want 19 Cobra Troopers, but I don't think at this point that's going to happen.
I think it will. I think they're going to drop.
They're doing another Cobra Trooper, but in a different paint scheme. I think it's the blue paint scheme that's coming in the wave. So that'll be your best bet. But if you want the Cobra Island stuff, it's gonna.
I think you're right. I think that's done. But I mean, I just want Cobra Troopers. I don't care what version it is, just so I have some Cobra Troopers. I'll put the Target one in front or something and have, 5 or 6 in the back. I probably won't get 19 or 20 of those things, but
right now let's cut over a little bit into reveals that came out the last couple of weeks, and some pretty big figures that dropped that I'm very, very excited about. One being let me get it here. Here we go. Old Firestar.
I'm very excited for this figure.
Very excited.
I pre-ordered mine, so I'm getting it.
I missed the pre-order. I can't believe it. I missed the pre-order on this.
I think it's on Big Bad, Rob. I think it's still on Big Bad Toy Store. Yep, go get one as soon as we get done this call.
I don't even have an account. Maybe I'll send you the money.
Okay.
Or something. I want to stay away from Big Bad Toy Store. Too many horror stories out here. definitely my childhood was spent watching Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Probably one of my favorite cartoons. You know, they had the X-Men in it. They had tons of, you know, Daredevil was in it. Just name it. They were in that show, and the whole interaction and what they came up with. She was created for that show, right? Did she have a comic before this?
You know what? I don't know if she was created for the show. I think you might be right on that. I don't think she existed prior to that.
I think you're right, Rob. I think she was created for the show. I think afterwards she did have a 4-issue limited series, but it came out after.
Oh yeah, she took off. Yeah, she definitely took off after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because after that, I know in the comics she was a New Warrior, an X-Men, an Avenger.
That's right. Yep.
She started. You know, she became a little more prominent. But yeah, I think you're right on that.
Yeah, I think she was created for the show.
I love the fact they gave her two heads, one with the sweeping hair and one with the straight down hair. You know,
love the dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The sweeping hair could be used on a lot of different action scenes, and just the plain, relaxed, vanilla hair. I love it. I love that they're doing both. Her just hovering. I need. I'll talk about this later in a little bit, but there's a couple other figures that I need that directly coincide with this figure here. So, now, for some reason, I'm remembering the dog as being brown in the cartoon series.
I think the dog was brown.
I think Miss. So they're pretty good at getting the accuracy. I'm pretty sure Miss. Well, you know what? Let's find out.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Miss Lion was brown in this TV series. Like I don't know why that's.
I think you're right. I think the white or that white color is from the comic. I think they went comic accurate on the dog.
Actually, you know what? You're right. It is comic accurate. It's not cartoon accurate.
I'm good with it. You know,
me too. Me too.
That's right. But yeah, I always thought she was brown. Look at the details in this figure though. Look at a lot of people in the collecting community with the female Marvel Legends have issues with the articulation, with no waist swivel, no right. Ab crunch, no double elbows in the females, and I get it because they're just as agile as the male figure as a male in the comics.
Yeah,
you know, a Collector X, do you have any history on why they don't do more articulation in the female?
Well, from what I've seen from other podcasts and one guy specifically, I don't know if you ever heard of Bobby Valla. He started his own toy company, the Valla Universe, and he's on a friend of mine,
right, yeah,
podcast. He used to work for Hasbro, so he's got a wealth of information on it's basically insider stuff, nothing that's detrimental, but stuff it's good for collectors. And simply, they can do it. They just have chose not to do it. Now, they're not saying because it's cost or anything. A lot of times they're saying it's because of just aesthetic reasons. Something like, along the lines of like McFarlane doesn't do certain articulation because it breaks the sculpt. Exactly. But ultimately, eventually, they will get the double jointed elbows.
I need this flame effect. Somebody get this for me.
What the dog's name is? What, Miss Lyons, right?
Miss Lion.
Miss Lion. I have a picture in my head of coming over to Rob's house and seeing Stiltman in the bathtub and like 10 of Miss Lions. Like,
oh man!
But
time, please.
But talking about the articulation and I wanted to share my opinion on comments or commenters on articulation and versus the price point. So I have issue with
that's a great
whether they're trolls or collectors on the fact that the complaints of, well, it doesn't have this or it doesn't have that, and I understand that we want the perfect figure, but when you're talking about $20 at a major retailer, you're only going to get so much. Because if they added in all those extra things and it ended up being $35, then it would be like, well, wait a minute, why don't we go back to the $20 figure with the less articulation?
Right. People are going to bitch no matter what.
And that's it. But I do feel it's positive to have the critiques because it will inform Hasbro what they need to do. And it has, as we talked about in the beginning, it has has a paid dividends for us collectors because they are listening. Now, hopefully they listen a little harder and get these things out closer to our comments. But for the fact of the matter is, we are getting a quality figure for a quality price, and it's just gotten better as time's gone on. So some people have to understand that if you want a hot toy, you're going to have to pay hot toy prices. And I know a lot of people aren't interested in doing that, but they still want a hot toy for $20, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. Rob and I just did a quick video of Snake Mountain last week, right? And from Masters Universe Classics, and people bitched this thing out. Dude, it is one heck of a play set. People bitched that it was supposed to be 10% bigger. But people are going to bitch about anything. For this, for $20, you're getting a hell of a figure. That's fantastic. That's one of the best figures I've seen here in a long time. I can't wait for this Firestar.
Oh, and the other thing is
dog.
Oh, the dog. But look at okay. So you're getting 2 flame effects, 2 heads, 2 sets of hands. So you're and a dog for $20.
$20.
Yep. For $20, you can't beat that. And I get it. People want a different type of body, and listen, the bodies have evolved and have changed over time. But this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They're going to do what they need to do to continue to make a profit. But they're not really passing that on. We haven't had a price increase through retail since 2014, which is the Mandroid wave. Okay, the Mandroid wave was the first increase we had. After that, we went from $14.99 to $20. So you're thinking about what's that? When did the Mandroid wave come out? That came out in
11, 12.
Yeah, it was Infinite Line.
Maybe 12 or 13, somewhere in there. Yeah, somewhere right around there. When the movie, the
Winter Soldier came out. Yeah, 2013. 2013. Okay. So after that, the first price increase that I remember seeing was with the Ultimate Green Goblin, where they were $19.99.
Okay.
So the fact of the matter that we're getting that is great. And still staying within that price point, because I figured at this point we'd be paying $25 a piece retail. Okay.
Sure.
And that's without sales or coupons or anything like that. So
they are doing that to certain aspects with some of the exclusive stuff that you're not getting build a figure parts to, like the 80th anniversary cap and 80th anniversary. They're doing the unique packaging and upping the price on that, and so they are, and they aren't going up.
But those like you said, you point out, they're single waves, no build a figure. Different, and some of those are new sculpts and stuff like that, so they're going to be a little higher price point on that. But when you're talking anywhere from 6 to 8 figure wave,
sure,
to things are going to be reused. It's just as simple as that. I mean, sure. Even Hot Toys reuses the same buck. They just use different clothing, different accessories, when the price point's $300.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like we said early on, guys. Marvel Legends is the best bang for the buck. I mean, sure. Without a doubt. I mean, I
want to go back to the Snake Mountain. People are complaining about that. That thing is I mean, if you don't have an auxiliary room for that, you're not going to be able to display that thing.
Exactly.
You literally need a wing for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I had the Gray Skull. I had from Mattel, the one that came out during the Matty Collector line.
Yeah.
That thing was massive. And then the Snake Mountain's what? 2 times bigger than that? Something like that?
Double the size. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't open it up to display it. I had to close it to show the front face because it was too big to have open. I didn't have a table or space big enough for that.
Yep, sure. I have mine closed, but I have a specific spot for Snake Mountain. But yeah, it was supposed to be 10% bigger than, they had to make it smaller. It was $600. Like, if they made it 10% bigger, you'd be charged so much more money. They did a fantastic job on the playset as well. But like I said, people are just going to bitch about anything. Imagine Super 7 gave us one hell of a playset that we never thought we would ever get, right? And I think people just need to be a little bit more patient with some of these companies. I understand there's issues. I understand there's delays. I understand people are going to want new articulation or whatever, but The good thing is, like you said, Collector X, Hasbro is the company, or the Marvel Legends team is the team that's listening to us. They seem like a really good group of guys that want to give the collectors what they want.
Yeah, and listen, they're not always going to get it right, and no one is. I mean, and like you pointed out, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be problems. Some people are just not going to be thrilled with that. So, let's put it this way: the Age of Apocalypse wave that came out. You see how many Wolverines are peg warmers. Okay,
right.
The rest of the line is selling. So regardless of what people are saying, there's going to be more Age of Apocalypse figures. It's just simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
One figure isn't going to dictate that line.
Sure.
It's just not going to happen.
And that's a badass build to figure out that line. I'll tell you that much.
What was that?
Sugar Man? Oh my
he's
god.
Awesome.
Oh, he's badass. He is badass.
I didn't think he was going to be that good. I mean, the pictures look nice, but I built him finally. I was like, this is solid. This is one to have in a collection. And he also transcends that AOA timeline. He's now part of the major universe.
So I did not pick up that wave. That's one wave that I have not gone back and picked up yet.
That Sugar Man Build-A-Figure is sweet, bro.
Yeah, I think I might have. Do you have any extras left over I can give you? I think I have an extra Wolverine. Does that come with a Build-A-Figure part? That one?
I think so. I think it came with a hammer or something. I'm
something
not sure.
like that.
There's so many pieces to that Build-A-Figure. So.
And that's where you had a figure that I think was like 8 figures deep that had a Build-A-Figure piece, which was nice. I always prefer that instead of having that one iconic figure that they try to sell on you that has no Build-A-Figure part.
Yeah. Getting into another line here, the House of X, X-Men with the Tri-Sentinel Build-A-Figure. Not very sure of the story. It's a newer comic storyline, so yes. I'm not particularly up on the storyline. I'm gonna dive deeper into it, and I want to learn more about it because, from my understanding, the HasLab Sentinel also was a birth out of this House of X storyline.
That's correct. Yeah, the design is from that storyline, that era of X-Men. So this is going to go perfect with that. If you're collecting, especially that, I think it's a Hickman storyline.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
And again, they're doing a great job. I mean, if you're just going to collect X-Men, your money's going to be tied up for a long time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, X-Men sell. The Juggernaut wave proved that. Yes. that wave was everywhere. They produced a lot of it.
What a great wave! That was a fantastic wave as well.
Yeah. This Wolverine character. This is there's so many Wolverines, but this just pops off the screen to me.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the beard or whatever, but the claws, the paint.
I like the little Amish goatee he's got going on there.
I like it too, man. Yeah, I dig it. As many Wolverines as I have, I want that.
Right out of that storyline somewhere that he has a gray beard or something, but this buck they have for Wolverine is perfect.
Yes.
It is fucking perfect. Like I don't know how they can improve on it. Like I don't know where they can go with it.
I completely agree.
I'm sure they listen, and I'm sure they can. And and this is where it goes back to the comments. You're going to have some guy who's very analytical and very picky about what he wants, and he's going to hammer Hasbro to death, and eventually they'll change something on it. Or like have you seen the 2-pack of the old Logan and old Hawkeye with the pinless technology?
Yes.
I mean, that'll be the next route. You'll have a seamless figure. So
yeah, I'm really digging that pinless technology. It makes the figure, and it's a $20 figure that is blowing away imports.
That's it, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, again, as much as people want to gripe, $20 and you're getting that figure. I mean, let's see how far we've come from Toy Biz. Now, Toy Biz had some great figures, but some of the sculpts weren't that great, articulation a little wonky or whatever. But that's the evolution of the action figure.
So, Toy Biz were relevant up till about 3 or 4 years ago, and Hasbro has really just made them relevant now. And like it's hard to put them in your collection.
You can't unless you want to be a completist and have everything from start to finish.
Yeah,
that's about it. And on top of that, they've done most of those figures over again. So
guys,
really
do me a favor. I have a couple of friends that are going to start watching us just to see what's coming out. Whatever toy line we might talk about. Can you explain the pinless technology?
Robert, so the pinless technology is so simply what they're doing. If you're looking at this Cyclops right now, if you look at the elbows and the knees, okay, you'll see those dots there. So those are the pins that are keeping the legs and arms together and give the articulation.
I think it's pinless. I think it's pinless. Yeah, his elbows are pinless.
Yeah, go back to the previous picture.
Yeah, I think he's pinless.
All right. Well, okay. So for instance, no. See, look, looks like there's pins on that one. But regard. Okay. So the Wolverine. So go back to that previous picture.
Okay. Right.
The pins are there. Are giving the figure the articulation, able to bend. So what they're doing is they're getting rid of that pin to have a seamless leg, like a human leg, where there's nothing, doesn't make it look like an action figure. You still have the same posability, but without that aesthetic. Now, how they're doing it, I don't know. I don't know if it's, obviously an internal peg that's been painted over or capped or something, but whatever they're doing, it's giving that figure that import look for $20.
And this is on pretty much the newest waves that are out, right? Or any wave going forward will have this technology.
Well, they'll start incorporating it more, yes.
Okay.
I think it really depends on
I haven't heard anything from Hasbro directly that it's going to be
every
ubiquitous, every line, but I think as time goes on, it's going to be that.
It's like anything, like you were saying with the value and how they put the money into the figures. If they have an arm that works, they're going to go with it. If they feel like they can remaster it a little bit and make it pinless, they're going to go with it. But
it's
they have
funny
the inventory of the pinless.
Bobby Valla was saying about Dwight Stahl. He said, "Listen, Dwight loves redoing figures. So if he could do that brown costume Wolverine 50 times, he'll do it 50 different times because it's just money, but also I think from an artistic point of view, it's getting his vision right.
Right. Right. That's awesome.
Because sometimes you have a vision of what the comic and the figure should be, and human limitations and production limitations can only do X. But as time goes on, things get better. Because look at the MCU face technology, the photo print.
Right.
When that came out in the Guardians of the Galaxy, I was blown away looking at Gamora. I'm like, wow, this looks like Zoe Saldana right here on the figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blown, so that has drastically improved the quality of a human likeness. So
how do you feel about this Cyclops? All in all, I'm not familiar with it.
I'm not familiar with it, but I'm digging the blue suit.
Is it coming back to who drew Deadpool? Who
Rob Liefeld?
Yeah, with the pouches. What are we doing here? Are we going back to the 90s? With the pouches on the belt and everything? Like I'm not saying I made it, but it looks like what's old is new again.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm digging it. I love the fact they put in the alternate head with the beam. I want to say this is the Bucky Cap body.
It is. It is the Bucky Cap body.
From what I can tell, the arms look pinless, but the legs they do have pins. So they are incorporating, because I'm not seeing pins on these arms.
Yeah, from that picture I don't see him, but definitely I see him in the legs in the
in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they're incorporating where they can with the pinless.
Yeah, so I wonder if they're new arms because of the gauntlets on the hands.
Oh, you think they're not like sleeves? Like that's an actual sculpt?
It could be an actual sculpt, yeah.
It looks like a sculpt, yeah, I agree. Yeah, but the face looks really good. I like the screaming face. I like that they give a neutral face also. I'm not a big fan when they give just a screaming figure. I'd rather have a neutral face than just a screaming face.
Yeah, because if you're just have a static pose in the team, you don't want them yelling all the time and angry. It's like if you're, and again, I think, and this is another thing. I think they're also listening to the toy photographers a lot too. So
ACVA is huge.
Exactly. So you're giving them this action face, this dynamic face that can go along with a fight with a Sentinel or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I dig the color of that Cyclops.
Yeah. Do you know anything about it?
No, I don't know the storyline. I'm thinking back to that really old Toys R Us wave that had the red and black. Was it red and black Cyclops? So I'm thinking of, we're gonna have a bunch of Cyclopses. But I dig the color. I think the reminds me of the Foosh Blue from the Foosh's YouTube channel. Like, he always likes blue color. So I think Robo from the Foosh is gonna be buying that Cyclops.
And this is the pins that Collector X was talking about in the arms. They're very prominent. That pinless, man, really makes these arms seamless. And
this Magneto is probably one that the least one I'm looking forward to. It's okay, but I might end up trading or selling that one.
Well, I think that one's gonna. I don't necessarily think that's gonna be a peg warmer for two reasons. I know the white costume's popular, and it's got the 3 heads for the Build-A-Figure in there. So
right. The set.
Some of the figures that have the heads tend to be a little rarer.
Because if you look, it's funny. Let's take a look at the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. So so the Wolverine comes with the head. The package figure is about $80, if not more.
Right.
You take the head out. The head's only worth about $20. So that's what it comes down to.
Moira Taggart.
Now I love this figure for 2 reasons. It gives you two looks. One with a lab coat, and one on the town. I guess if you want to say going out.
I agree. I'm digging this figure as well.
Looks like it's all women I think are pinless because they don't have the upper elbow. They just have the elbow joint.
The elbow is hidden.
But look at that.
Yeah,
so they actually made replaceable arms. They made replaceable arms on that.
Yeah,
wow.
Arms. You'll take the coat off and then you put the other arms on.
Let's go. I love that. I mean, that's 2 heads. This is $20. Wow.
$20.
This is 2 figures.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. And then on top of that, you're getting what? You're getting a lab book in there.
Check the sculpt too. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the glasses, the book, the handkerchief. Wow, I love this. This is not a character I have a lot of attachment to at all. Like, if I seen it, I'd probably pass right by her. Except I love what they did, and she must have something to play in the House of X storyline.
Well, that on top of it, also, I mean, if you haven't, this is the first time they've ever done this figure. You need it for your X-Men line. You need her. You need her right next to Professor X. I mean, that's it's filling, it's checking off that box on that list.
She wasn't Banshee's sister, right? No, right?
No, that was Siren.
Oh, Siren. Okay.
Which is another hot figure that people want that hasn't been made yet.
Now, I did see some reviews on this figure. Not reviews, but some talkabouts about it. I love it until you get to the boots. I hate the boots. The boots are just. They could have did something. They could have added something to separate it, to sculpt it a boot or something on this. And I think this figure would be perfect. But the boots really, just the painted boots into the legs. I mean, we're past that now with Marvel Legends.
You would think, and it is disappointing because you look at the gloves up top.
Right, they're sculpted. Yep.
You have that soft sculpted glove, and it gives that extra texture. And then you look below, and it looks like they did. They forgot to do the bottom half of the figure. Now, maybe that's just a production photo, but probably not. It's probably what you're going to get.
Yeah, and that's really, they dropped the ball with the boots on this.
So this is Jean Grey. Isn't that her vintage or outfit, like a really old outfit, or or am I mistaken? Is that a new outfit?
From what I remember, yeah, but who knows with the House of X storyline? I know this flower here has something to do with the House of X.
Right. I do. Yeah, I read that as well.
Yeah,
that's a vintage costume, but on a newer figure.
Yeah,
I guess she's being called Miss Marvel or Jean Grey. I'm not sure what the storyline is, calling her.
Let me see if we have a package. I can't see the name.
No, everything's in I forget the language it's called. It's like Croatian.
Okay.
So they're playing off the storyline.
Oh, gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like these boots are just painted on, and I think they really dropped the ball with this figure. It could have been tremendous.
Yeah.
From the knees up, it blew me away. You get below the knees, and I wish I never seen it. I wish but I can't unsee it now. Yeah, no,
Well,
nothing
here's
about.
No,
here's
nothing
where all
about
the
this
money
one.
went to. This figure right here.
Yeah, yeah. Outstanding. I mean, this figure is beautiful, man.
Love the hands, arms, you know.
Yeah.
And this is going to go perfect with the Bastion and the other figure that came with what was the other figure that came with the HasLab Sentinel?
So the Bastion and the female, right?
The female one, yeah. So she's in line with these three. So that's just a perfect addition.
Okay.
Wow.
Exactly.
And
To
the
your
Nimrod. And the Nimrod.
the Nimrod.
Yeah, this figure here, like, what's her name? Sentinel?
Omega Sentinel.
Omega Sentinel.
Yeah.
The arms on. I'm blown away. I know nothing about the figure. I want 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I love her. Everything about it. You know. I've heard some. You know, this head.
Wow. I haven't seen this photo yet.
Yeah. So apparently this is her in the comics prior to, but there are issues behind this.
Okay.
Supposedly the skin color is way off on this head and also the hair color. She's Native American and
okay.
and it's not looking that way. She looks Caucasian.
Okay.
You know, and even in the comics, she looks Native American. They're the only photos of her looking Caucasian is from where probably Hasbro pulls a lot of their you know, the photos they're going to use to build this is the game. She was in the game and she looked Caucasian in the game, but
okay.
So there's a little uproar, a little, you know, with the Native American community, you know, that Hasbro kind of dropped the ball with that part of it, being that there aren't many Native American figures.
No, the only one you have is two, Warpath and Danny Moonstar. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
But if Hasbro's smart, I don't know where they are in production. You know, they probably could just simply put a little repaint on that. But I don't know.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like you have to do an entire body. It's just the chin area. So
yeah. Well, you know, in the hair, the hair head is spectacular. You know,
it's
you've never seen nothing like that, you know, like from
great sculpt.
Well, and that's where when I know, and again, and we made the same critiques, and I'm fine with the critiques about the boots, okay? But I've already rationalized we're getting this amazing Build-A-Figure that I know we'll touch on next, but we're also getting the Moira Taggart figure. We're getting the Omega Sentinel with all these additional items. And yes, they're a billion-dollar company. Could they probably push it a little more and we get a little bit more? Sure. But this is what we're going to get. And it's not like we're getting, 5 points of articulation for $20 and no accessories.
That's a lot of new accessories on that figure. That's a lot of new sculpting details. That is a bargain for $20.
Exactly. And like you said, this is going to be an army builder. This is going to be a popular figure because you're going to want 2 of each, 3 of each in different poses and forms. So, I mean, right there, you're everybody's hooked on that one.
Right.
So,
like I said, I have no attachment to this figure at all. No comic book history with it. I'm going to learn the House of X. I'm going to read about it. I want it. I want to. I want both them heads displayed. I got to learn how it's going. I hope they do touch on, you know, the part to fix, you know, the wrong skin tones and all that. Right. But other than that, let's go. The guns, the head. I love it.
I love it too.
Yep.
Yeah. I also have no attachment to the character until I read the storyline, but I love it. Absolutely love it.
But that just shows you how powerful that figure is. The fact that we don't know anything about it, but we want it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I want it. Professor X in a what is that? A stripper suit?
Well, that's the Professor X from an alternate timeline. He's got Cerebro on his head. He's like an evil maniacal one that was done by Hickman many years ago. I forget the storyline it was. It was with Thanos and the Black Order, and he's pretty malevolent.
Oh wow. That design is also in Marvel Contest of Champions. He's been one of their newest releases over like the past month and a half. So that's where I first really saw that design of the character was in that game. And then man, they are correlating with each other or working together because when they put the character in game and then you see the figure, they're identical. It's crazy. And
well, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect seamlessness right there. That transition where you're able to take the comic and game and put it in the plastic form, and vice versa.
It is. It is.
You know, well, that's the one thing that Marvel, Hasbro, Disney are all good about is creating the world where everything is connected. You know, and it's what DC's lacking is the fact of a cohesiveness.
Right. You know, and another figure. Speaking about how good they come out from the game to action figure form, one of the newer figures coming out is also Nova. I don't know if Rob has pictures of that coming up here soon, but the old Nova that we got that I hate is identical from the game. It looks just like that in the game Marvel Contest of Champions. It's crazy how they were able to perfectly match the character in game to the crappy figure that I don't like. But it is.
Now, are you talking about the one from the Nemesis line, the Walmart exclusive back in the day? Or are you talking about the one from the Guardian of the Galaxy?
The Nova? One from the Guardians of the Galaxy one.
Okay, the modern one.
Then. Yeah, the kind of skinny Nova. Yeah,
I'm about to look that up. I don't have pictures of that right now, but I'll look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that new that's a Walgreens exclusive, the new Nova.
Right.
It's all going to be like some kind of galactic type figure, right?
That's what they said. It's going to be a lot of galactic. They're doing the Silver Surfer, the Dark Silver Surfer, and that one.
Right. So, a couple things with this photo that catches my eye is first the closed eyes. You know, that's first time I think they said they ever did that, right? Yep. With the action figure is the closed eyes. I'm digging it. I like it on this character.
Yeah, I dig it.
They definitely stole that effect. You know, like that. This is definitely a customizer has done this. Can of Beams, you know, has done this a couple of years now, probably. I want to say, you know, he's done this effect, and you know, I heard they might be tussling in the streets.
But something tells you Hasbro's going to win that fight. I don't, you know.
Can of Beams makes some good stuff, though, and that's for sure.
They do. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, it's a lot better than the last effect they gave us for Professor X. I think everybody has to agree with that. The cum shot. I'm like, but yeah, no, this is definitely a good take. I can see this body being reused a lot on a lot of figures, you know, because it's so plain. They don't, you know, Legends really doesn't do just a plain body much. But this is definitely, you flip the head on this. This is going to be a customizer's dream right here. You know,
I think you're right, man.
You know, definitely a lot of value into this. Maybe not from my point of view. I like it. You know, I'm gonna get it, and I appreciate it. But I think customizers are gonna go crazy with this stuff.
This isn't our Professor X. We already got our Professor X from the other wave. You know, so this one is cool and all, and I will buy it and display it. But we already got our Professor X.
Yeah, I mean, what you got there essentially is a blank canvas for a lot of people. I mean, that's where I think that's where the value is going to be if you find things on clearance and stuff like that, and you know, customizers. But it's interesting they finally did it, because I also remember him going by the name The Maker back at the early Hickman series.
Wow.
So it's a twofold figure. You got this storyline and the one from the Avengers, you know, 5-6 years ago.
I got you.
Yeah. And then we come to the curveball of the whole wave. Nobody's seen this coming. You know, if you did, I'm calling you a liar. Nobody's seen the Tri-Sentinel as a Build-A-Figure. And I'm digging it. You know, again, not much attachment, not the Tri-Sentinel I know from the comic books back in the day. But I like it.
It's different. You know? It's might give your shelf kind of a, you know, futuristic kind of look to it. Something new, something different, right?
Does anybody have any info on the background of this figure?
No.
I don't know much. I don't know much about it. From what I heard from a couple other podcasts, it's not a figure it's not a design that's seen much in the comics, but it's there.
Okay. Is it an army builder?
It from what I heard, not. It can be. It's not that it has, but it, you know, it's one of those things where if you want 5 of them, it's not wrong to have 5 of them.
He could probably make himself into more copies of himself, or they're like Sentinels, maybe made 3 or 4 made. I don't know, but Yeah, it's definitely different. That's for sure.
I'm calling a lot of new sculpt on this figure.
Yeah,
I'm seeing.
I get an anime
I think
feel.
it's 100% new. I don't think there's anything reused on that.
Yeah.
At all.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even from Spider.
No, because if you look at the hands are new. If you look at the legs are new.
Yeah.
Maybe the arms. That's about as far as I could probably tell. That's reused. Outside of that, I don't see much. Without having it in hand, I don't see much reusable parts on that.
Right. Something that can be pulled from another figure. Yeah. So they really went out on this wave, then, man. Like, there's
Lots
at
of new
least
parts. Yeah.
Yeah, at least 2 or 3 figures that are really just like this is pretty basic. This one, I'm besides the heads, which is every figure, but this is new.
Yeah, lots of new parts on that.
No, definitely. I think all new parts. Like this is sculpted. The chest is sculpted, the arms, the head,
the heads. I mean, everything on there. I mean, maybe some of the legs. I'm trying to think of the body.
The legs are pinless. Yeah.
This is all new. I mean, Hasbro came through. They did say 2020 would be the year of X-Men, and they haven't disappointed.
Oh, the boots.
My wallet is already frowning.
Greg, how many jobs you have? 3, 4 jobs? Keep it up.
Look, this is the fourth figure of the wave that we don't have. Let's go Hasbro, man. Anybody hates Hasbro, go fuck off, man.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, listen, I have my gripes sometimes when I see a figure. It's like, all right, maybe I wish they did a different figure or they came with a certain accessory. But overall, you're getting a great figure for a great price.
We're not getting repainted Batmans out of McFarlane. Let's just keep repainting Batman. Come on. I love how they came out with this awesome cycle for Batman. It's like a skull or some type of.
Yeah, it's a bat skeleton.
Yeah, but he can't sit on it. Yeah, they show him on the cycle with his legs spread on the ground. He's not sitting on it though. There's no way McFarlane's going to give enough articulation to for that to happen. Come on.
Well, I think the good thing is it's only like a $29 bike though.
I don't give a shit. I wouldn't give them 1 cent.
I would start getting them because some of those figures are getting kind of pricey right now.
I don't care. I'll wait till McFarlane loses the license, or I won't have a DC figure on my damn shelf. No, they're not doing that to me. It's a shame because aesthetically they're very pleasing. When you see them in the package, they look good, paints and everything, but every figure is the same. And I'm not gonna. This isn't a bash McFarlane. We could do a whole episode on me bashing McFarlane. That's later. But,
that's next week.
Yeah, next week. I don't want to get into that. And I know you have a whole different aspect on that collector aspect. And like I said, that's a future episode. We're gonna get down and tussle with that one. Even though I know you kicked my ass, but still.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about between the DC classics all the way up to the DC multiverse that's McFarlane and the evolution of that and the comparison between that, because I like them both, but I can understand people's criticisms about both and what could have been done better and what McFarlane has time to do to improve on that. But we know McFarlane's pretty stubborn.
Yes. I said boo to McFarlane.
McFarlane's pretty stubborn and he wants what he wants. It's not. I always go with this. It's not what you want, it's what the consumer wants.
Yeah.
And I get it. You're an artist, but, you're selling a product. So,
yeah.
But that's another podcast for another time.
Yeah. A little story I think you want to probably bring up. There's some – you've been a collector for a long time. And you've had your hands on some rare figures. And maybe dive into a couple if you don't mind, collector.
Well, I'm going to start off with the one that got away, and this was this was about 8-9 years ago, and I was at Rob's brother store Okay.
Right.
And it was like a lazy Wednesday. We're just chit-chatting, talking about Legends and going over the figures that we haven't seen before, but we know exist. So we had pulled up the subsection of X-Men from the Toy Biz line when they started doing the Avalanche and the Stealth Beast and all that. And on the back of the card, there was a Phoenix in the last wave. And we both looked at each other like, I've never seen this one. All the other figures have been produced, but we haven't seen this one. And Frank, so we start looking online and everything. And of course, there's no information. It was never produced. So we're like, that would have been cool because it was a cool design where half the legs were all translucent plastic. And it was kind of a remake of the Legend, Phoenix Legend from Wave 6 of Toy Biz, but done a little bit better. So, and this is not a joke, this is not hyperbole. About 2 weeks later, I go in the store, hanging out again. Frank has this grin on his face. And I was like, what's going on, bud? He goes, guess what I got in? And I said, I have no idea. He turns around and shows me the Jean Grey, the Phoenix. It's on a card. And I went, that's a great custom. Who made that for you? He goes, it's not a custom. I said, it has to be. That figure was never made. He goes, it's not a custom. He turns it around, and there's a sample code on the back of it.
Oh, wow.
And I said, you hand wrote that? I mean, I was like, you really went all out on this. He's like, no. He goes, I'm telling you. He goes, I met a woman who had a storage unit, and I bought all the contents in there. And apparently she had some connection to Spencer's, and this was in it. And I started doing more research on it, and come to find out, it's real. And it's a sample on the card. So I first asked Frank, I'm like, well, how much do you want for it? He was like, well, it's not for sale. I want to show it off in the store. And he said, but you'll be the first one who gets first dibs at it. I said, okay, fair enough, right? Yeah. So in my head, I'm calculating, what's this going to cost me, as time goes on. So right. I think about a year went by, and Frank comes to me. He goes, all right, I'm ready to sell it. And he gives me the price, and I went, I can't do it. He goes, what do you mean you can't do it? He goes, you're my Legends guy. He goes, I want you to have this. And I said, yeah, but I just bought an engagement ring and a house. I literally have no money. I got nothing. Right. So Frank goes, and this is what kills me. This is where I really kick myself in the butt. Frank goes, you can pay me in payments.
Oh.
And like, I had this twinkle in my eye, like, all right, this is a possibility. I'm like, I can't, because at the time, my wife knew nothing about action figures, knew nothing about what they could be worth or anything like that. She just knew they were toys. So to sit there and tell her I'm spending this much money on a plastic figure, it wasn't going to resonate well, especially on top of the engagement ring and the house. So I told Frank, I said, I can't. He's like, dude, like $25 a week, he goes at worst, like $50 a month. I'm like, I can't, I just can't do it. So,
oh, wow.
So
that's the one that got away.
Yeah. So I passed on it, and I kicked myself every day. So then he ended up finding a guy online out in Hollywood, the John Stamos character, and he sold it to him. And that was the last time I ever saw it. And every time I see Rob, Frank, my friend Justin, I get reminded every time. Nice. And it's like that pop of collecting history where it's like you had that chance. It's like passing up, the Boba Fett, prototype.
Yeah.
But it's I just didn't have the money.
That
just
sucks, man. I'm going to add on to your story real quick. That Stealth Beast, I was dating this chick at the time. Her mother was nuts, dude. She was nuts. This chick's mother was nuts. She called my work number. She found my work number and just added a different number onto it. Like mine was 8701 and she dialed 8702, which was the HR department at my job to complain about me, this woman's mother. Well, the daughter bought me the Stealth Beast, and I just wanted to add that on to, as a gift one day. She bought me the Stealth Beast, yeah. Come to find out, the mother went to jail for stealing mail out of people's mailboxes, so it all ended well.
Oh.
Shit! So you got another one. You got another really rare figure that I'm going to post pictures here.
So what the missed opportunity? That's what I'm calling the missed opportunity of the Phoenix. led me to this figure and my credo of I will find a way to get this figure unless it's just astronomical. We're talking, $20,000 or whatever. I will find a way to get it. So it's something I've always wanted and I've researched. And from what I could tell, there was only 7 or 8 in existence. And a friend of mine, Nick, that Rob knows, he told me one day, he goes, we were talking about it, he goes, dude, there's one online right now, a guy out of Chicago. So I look online. Sure enough, it's up for auction. It's got a couple days left. But I email him and I said, listen, I'm going to make you an offer. And he goes, no, he goes, I appreciate it, but I want to see where the bids go. And, it was the initial bid was pretty high. So I waited to the last minute and I didn't pull the trigger and only one bid was put on it. So the guy got it for a good price. So again, kicking myself in the butt. Well, a year later, it comes up from the guy who bought it. And I emailed the guy again, made him an offer. And he's like, no, I want to see where bids go. I was like, okay. And I was determined to get it this time. There was no way it was getting out of my reach. And it only went for a few $100 more than it did originally. And I've had it for about 5+ years. And it's the rare Annihilus comic version from the Fantastic Four movie that was discontinued and did not hit retailers.
I will post better pictures as well so people can get a better look at that. But yeah, that's I agree with you. I don't think there's many in existence for that figure.
No, and I've seen one on a YouTube that was loose, and guy was doing a demonstration. But this was before the line was discontinued, so no one knew the rarity of it. And then I've only seen this one online twice, and finally I got it the second time around.
Awesome! Congratulations, man. Keep it. Don't be like me and sell everything to Frank.
I'm going to learn from you. No, because Frank will end up getting this, and it'll be 4 times what I think it's worth.
Yes, but yeah, man, that's a great piece.
Yeah, that's a hard one to put a value on because that's really rare and beautiful, and a lot of pluses on that figure there.
Yeah, card and bubble are all in great condition. I mean, I lucked out on that, and I'm happy to have it in my collection because I know everybody wants to have at least that one piece, that show piece. You're like, hey guys, look at this.
Yeah, for
sure.
And
that's for me. So
the Grail, that's the Grail. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
the Holy Grail.
As far it's it's on the outskirts of being a legend, but it's like a pre-legend. It's in there, and that's definitely one of the top Grail pieces that anybody would. That and maybe Johnny with the cycle and that whole wave basically, but
even some of the Fantastic Four classics, right? They came out later that Toy Biz made. Dragon Man, right? Dragon Man. I love the Fantastic Four Collector X. I just love everything about the Fantastic Four. I love the Fantastic Four classics, even the movie stuff, dude. Even though some of the figures aren't that great, I still dig that. And the piece you just showed us is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, and what I love about it even more, it is more comic accurate. So they were obviously trying to spin this Fantastic Four wave into another Fantastic Four comic type of wave because they introduced that Doombot that was in that wave prior, which is a tough figure to get.
Right.
And I've had that. That's a nice figure to have. So they were trying to incorporate more elements of the comic, not just the movie, but it just didn't catch on the way they thought it would.
Right.
I had a ton of the rarer figures in my collection at one point, but the Doombot was definitely obtainable.
Yes.
But I could never pull the trigger on it. I don't know why. Like something about it just.
You had the Dragon Man, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a lot of the rare figures.
I had the Dragon Man too, but I had to start pulling the trigger on that because of the knockoffs that kept coming out on that.
Without doubt, bro.
Right.
And the knockoffs are great. I mean, whoever's making them is doing a great job. I mean, it's hard to tell. And I didn't want a figure that's worth X amount of money to just keep dropping in price.
Yeah, I hear you. I had thought about buying a knockoff at one point. I think I saw one on eBay. This is a year or so ago. $100, something like that. I don't know what they're doing now.
I think they were doing like 175.
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I dig that Dragon Man. But I think Rob and I have talked about this before. It's probably going to be one that Hasbro releases.
Yeah. I think they're going to release it, but not in that version. So if you see one for $100, that's the original one.
Yeah.
And since you're a fan, I would pick it up definitely.
Jump on it. Okay.
Jump on it. they do a new Dragon Man, it's going to be a modern version.
Right.
Or if they do a classic one, it isn't going to be the same sculpt, and that sculpt is amazing.
It is. I was just going to say that sculpt is really good.
He was an android in the comics, and he had more of an egg-shaped head. So that's what they might be getting. And I think he even went as far as to be on a team at some point.
Yeah, I forget what team he was on, but yeah, he started to become more of a, instead of like a D-list, character, incorporate a little more into the Fantastic Four world.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we are coming up on an hour and a half. We got top 5 figures Hasbro has not made yet. Let's let our guest go first. Collector X, you wanna jump in here? Top 5.
All right, I have I put a lot of thought into this, and I'm excited to give my top 5. Okay,
gotcha.
So, in no particular order, I would like to see them do a Mr. Hyde figure. Okay,
good, very good. I agree.
I get it. It's obscure. It's part of the Masters of Evil, but it's something I've always wanted on my list. So that's one.
Love that guy, man.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
I want a new Annihilus. Okay. I figure they're going to be, the Fantastic Four movies coming out in a couple years, that they'll start doing that.
My list has got knocked down to 4. On my list.
I got 2 more that probably knocks them off the list. I'd like to see a Cardiac figure from the Spider-Man wave.
Okay. Wow, interesting. Yeah, that's right out the McFarlane, right? That's early Todd McFarlane, right in there.
It's right around that area, yeah. And I just love the blue and white and the name. It's just, it's a weird character, but it's something I think will stand out in the collection.
Nice. Yeah, good choice.
I love it.
Yeah.
And the last 2, I want to see him do a new Toad figure for X-Men.
I had thought about that. Yep, me too. I
want to finish out the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And then the last one is another Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, an Avalanche figure.
A new Avalanche?
Yeah.
Cool.
So
the old one's not bad. The old one's not bad. But yeah, we could use an update on the Avalanche.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, it's even the Toad isn't that bad. I know there's no articulation; it's more of a statue, but
he's bad.
I like that Toad.
Oh yeah, no, he's bad.
I don't think that Toad is bad.
60s face.
No, he's bad. He's bad.
Good choices, Collector X. Good choices. All right, I'll go next. We got I've been sitting here thinking about this. Like I said, I talked to Rob earlier, and he brought up a choice that one of my favorite characters. And I'm going to say him first. It's Captain Marvel, the Genisvel that Toy Biz I think did a really crappy one years ago. But I'd like a newer version of Genis. What's that?
I think that figure, the design of that figure is stunning. With the stars and.
Oh yeah. It had a weird neck though, if I remember right. The neck was all sorts of long, weird. It just didn't translate well or something. But I think Hasbro needs to give us a Genisvel. And after that, I thinking back of the comics that I read and liked as a kid. I loved Excalibur, right? You're talking about X-Men characters, but Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, and like the dark blue, light blue pants, that outfit. And I also want to go along with Excalibur, a Captain Britain from the comics. Instead of I don't really care for the one that we got from Hasbro.
Me either.
So I want a comic book accurate Captain Britain.
You want for like Excalibur, or you want the original one with the lion chest on?
From Excalibur. No, I actually like that one too, though, with the red outfit and the lion chest. I actually have a custom Mego of that one done by Troy Younger.
Nice.
But man, Rob, I don't remember the other two. Who are the other two?
I don't remember.
I can get 2 more off of my list.
It was Captain Britain, Kitty Pryde, Genisvel. Shit, I don't remember. Rob, you go and I'll think about it.
All right. This is a 2. Well, since Collector X stole one of mine, I make this one into 2. But with the Firestar, I want a Amazing Spider-Man and Iceman from that wave, from the show, show accurate, basically. A more boxy type Iceman, and whatever colors were used and designed for that Spider-Man from Amazing Friends. I would love to see that. And I want to remake on the Rhino Build-A-Figure. I can't stand the dents in the shoulders, and I know that figure is $1 million right now. And
Trust
there's
me,
no
they're gonna
reason.
redo it. Don't worry.
Yeah, that one needs to be redone without the dents in the arms. I don't know why they even did it. What figure was used before that had it?
I don't even know the. Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I'm looking at it right now. My collection. I don't know. I think. Yeah, I don't know if that was a new sculpt or anything. I'm not sure.
And I had a Nihilist, but definitely that's one of the weaker Toy Biz ones. It's just the plastic quality didn't hold up. The paint didn't hold up.
It's top heavy. The wings are so heavy.
Yeah. It looks visually good, but as far as using it and anything or standing it up, it's no go.
No.
And I also want a Kitty Pryde, but I want her in the Days of Future Past. What was that? The yellow and black costume?
Yeah, yellow and black, and that goes perfect with the Days of Future Past Wolverine. It came with the box set.
I want the Kitty Pryde. Yeah, I think they gave us a Kitty Pryde early. What was that? Out of the
that was the Giant Man wave.
Juggernaut
they did the Kitty Pryde with the Juggernaut.
Yeah,
they did
too tall. They did her way too tall though.
Yeah,
she didn't. She seemed like a grown ass woman to me, in that, and just way too tall. They kind of missed that figure. I want to see a remake on Kitty Pryde. I want her a little bit smaller, like Magic size. Something like that. Yeah, definitely a redo on Kitty Pryde
with a bigger Lockheed the Dragon, because I love me some Lockheed.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do. Did anybody see the New Mutants movie?
I did. It was okay.
It was okay. Yeah,
it was entertaining. I liked some of the comic elements they put into it towards the end of the movie. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but it definitely. I understand why it took so long to get to the theaters and out the video, because you could see where they reshot a lot of things, rewrote the story. It could have been a lot better, but
I don't think they gave the characters. They did a lot of character building in it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they gave them enough to show their power sets. Because the enemy was so massive and powerful. It was really hard for them to really show off what they can do.
Well, it was also a short movie, too. I mean, like you said, they did all that exposition on the characters, and it's only like an hour and 35-minute movie.
Yeah.
So, the payoff at the end didn't equal the time spent developing the characters.
100%. Good way to put it. Yeah.
And then on top of that, they tried to make it more of a horror movie, and it didn't really work that well. So,
yeah.
Not
Do you think of them yet, Anarchy?
Well, one was Nova, because I had made up the list, and then Hasbro announced the new Nova. So I wanted to get rid of the shitty ass Guardians of the Galaxy Wave Nova, right? Because he just doesn't. He's going to be another Nova Corps guy, but he's not, my regular Nova. But then the Walgreens exclusive looks like the perfect Nova to me, right? So I know I was thinking of Nova, and I know I might have been thinking of Thor, the guy that stands guard over Heimdall, right? Heimdall, yeah. So that's.
They did him right in movie.
They did. Well, they did Heimdall from the movie, but not a comic version.
Yeah, comic book accurate Heimdall.
Yeah, so they haven't done him or the Warriors 3 yet.
That would be a nice 3-pack too. I would buy
absolutely.
That. Yeah. As far as movie stuff, I've really gotten out of it. I used to have a lot of movie stuff. It started from just wanting to get like a core Avengers team of movie and it sprouted into every movie figure they made, and that's the part of my collection I don't miss. I don't, of course I got the Deadpool sitting here.
I agree. No, I agree. I also got rid of most of mine. I have the Deadpool as well. And I think I kept the Hulk Ragnarok Build-A-Figure that I really like.
Yeah.
But most of the movie stuff I got rid of as well. Maybe at some point I'll go back to it, but I'm just right now, just comic book inspired Marvel Legends is what I want.
Sure. That's what I did. I did the same thing. I pared down the MCU to just Thor figures. I'm a Thor fan.
Oh, cool.
So I kept that. And then, like I said, I'll probably get that Deadpool, maybe a couple others, but for the most part, sticking strictly to comic accurate, figures, because that's what I grew up on, and that's the teams I want to build from and showcase. And it has nothing against the movies; it's just the world I want to stay in.
I agree. I completely agree with you. All right, guys, we're just over an hour and a half, I think. A little bit longer than that, but Collector X, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'd like to return.
Absolutely, guys. This was a pleasure. It's the first time ever doing this, so this was great. I had a great time talking to both of you, and definitely want to do it again on Legends, but anything else, we can, like I said, we talk about DCU, He-Man, Thundercats, whatever. Well, to be another podcast for another time.
Awesome. That sounds good.
You guys can hang out some He-Man stuff, that's for sure. I would love to hear that conversation.
I just picked up the PowerCon box set. It came the other day.
Oh, did it? The Origins? The Origins? I'm still waiting for mine. Big Bad Toy Store. It's going to hit me with a pre-order this week.
That's going to be you're going to see a big price tag on that one.
Yeah, $200 and some odd, I think. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that hitting my bank account this week.
Yeah.
But that's actually the only Origins thing I've actually bought from I bought He-Man and Skeletor. I don't want the rest of them, but I did buy the PowerCon exclusive set as well.
It's a worthwhile investment. You won't be disappointed with that one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Rob. You got anything to add?
I forgot what I used to say. It's been a while.
If you like what you
do it. If it doesn't, then don't.
There you go. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Take care, guys. Thanks.